What's up, YouTube? It is Matt with the Wise Buy Guy, and I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. I don't actually have a product review for you guys. I am going to show a couple of products, but I'm going to do so as I tell a story. I had a little epiphany the other night, and I learned some life lessons that I wanted to pass on to you guys. So if it's not your thing, go ahead and skip this video. But for those of you who want to learn the life lesson that I learned the other night, let's get on with my story. So the other night we are looking at Christmas lights, and we are on our way home. I've got my wife and my family in the car. We've been out for a couple of hours, and I've got my normal stuff on me. And I say on me, I want to make a distinction between the things in my backpack where I could live out of. I've got my pepper spray, I've got extra tourniquets, I've got car battery chargers, jumpers, I've got my computer. I mean, you name it, it's probably in my backpack. My wife teases me that my backpack is much like Mary Poppins bags. It just is full of stuff. And then the things I had on me are in my car. Things like my jacket, my AirPods, essentials, chapstick. However, actually on my person while I'm driving the car, the only thing on me other than my clothes was my fanny pack. We were out with the kids. I often go fanny pack, and this particular night I had my larger Vertec bag on me. The only things in this bag are my wallet, my pocket knife, and I don't even mean like a knife, I mean like my Leatherman. I do have my Warrior Poet Fox folder. Love that thing as just a pocket knife in the state of California. That keeps me safe and out of trouble. And then in my pocket, I have my flashlight. We're going to come back to this flashlight here in a moment. Now, in the bag, I have my Glock, which I won't take out for, YouTube's sake. And then back here, in the little emergency section, I've got a first aid kit. Now, trauma kit, first aid kit. So it's got things like Band-Aids, things like tourniquets, those types of things. However, kept in this back pocket, this is not a quick access deal. And if I wanted to get it through the zipper, I've got my gun in the way. So this is for emergencies, but ideally I should have like another tourniquet. And this is like the backup, right? Or if I was lazy and I forgot a tourniquet, I've at least got it on me. And you just hope you don't have to use it quickly because it's going to take, a minute to come out. That's all that's actually on my person. This is why I'm emphasizing the on my person. As we're coming home on the freeway's about 70, 75 miles an hour. We come to an overpass, and it is 9 o'clock, 9:15 at night. It is dark. And right under the overpass, I'm in the number 1 lane. It's only a 2-lane as we're going northbound. I look in the number 2 lane, my eyes are like, there's a body in the road. I'm sure that was a body. That couldn't have been a body. I must be seeing things. At the same time, my wife is like, I think that was a body in the middle of the road. It's like, okay. I thought I saw a body. She thought she saw a body. So I did something I don't normally do. I pulled the car over into the middle of the freeway. It was very safe. Big dirt section. Put the car in reverse to go visually clarify what we saw. Because I don't think it was a body. But it sure looked like a body. Now, first thing I'm going to say, I don't normally do this if my wife and my children are in the car. My priority is keeping them safe, and if there's something sketchy going on, for the most part, I'm going to keep going to get home so I get my wife and my children all home safely. But you guys, it so looked like a body in the middle of the road, and I couldn't in good conscience just keep going. With my wife going, are we going to stop? I think it was a body. I've got my firearm on me. I'm not going to go park right by where I saw the body. I'm going to keep a little bit of distance, and then I'm going to go walk to the body. So throw the car in reverse. I drive back a little bit, right? Because by the time you're going 70, 75, You react, you respond, you pull over, you've already gone, a good chunk of feet. So here's where I started making mistakes. I have things in my car to help in the event that I need to get out of my car on a road. And again, I'm going to try not, none of this is bragging, but I have been, just in the last year, probably the first responder at 3 different car accidents on my way to work. So on my way to work in my personal car, not my family car, I've got a little Honda CRV. And in the Honda, I've got a backpack with things like jumper cables, emergency food, emergency water. I've got a jacket that just lives in the car. So if it's rainy, cold, I need a hood, whatever, a jacket is just there. I've also got my vest with my armor steel plates, just cheap armor steel, nothing super fancy where if it gets stolen, broken into, I'm gonna be sad. Where I work is a non-permissive environment. I can't legally bring anything on campus, so I figure, hey, at least if stuff's in my car, I could go put on plates. The other thing I have in all of my cars are these cool bags from T-Rex Arms. They're like an eagle something, and you'll have to forgive me. I did not look it up. Ooh, maybe it has it on the tag. It is the Active Shooter Sling Bag. There we go. The T-Rex Arm Active Shooter Sling Bag. So in all of my Active Shooter Sling Bags, I really like these bags, by the way. They're just a great, put it on. Sorry for the camera angle. We'll suck in and stand on the tippy toes. You guys can see. It's cool. So in the bags, I've got the med pouch pocket with all the med gear. And I'm not going to take everything out. I've got gauze, I've got chest wounds, I've got gloves, I've got the trauma shears, I've got tourniquets, I've got all the goodies there. Now, this side I've got an additional tourniquet and a little CPR mask. And these are designed to hold things like pistol mags, and I think this one has AR mag pouches. Yeah, it does AR mag pouches. I'm not carrying any of that stuff in my car, so I'm using the bag for other things. Feel free to go check these bags out, and creative, your imagination and creativity is going to be the limit. And then on this side, I've got a cheap Leatherman, I've got a Phoenix flashlight, and I've got a knife. And in the back part of this bag, it's got a wonderful pocket. And here's what I keep in my wonderful pocket. High-vis vest. So if there was ever an active shooter response, and I was going to active shooter respond, I could put on the vest, whether I'm running security at an event, and I'm armed, whether I'm at a mall or wherever the case may be. If I'm in my car and there's something I'm going to respond to, I'd be like, hey, don't shoot the guy wearing the high-vis vest. Now, in my car, all of this is just shoved here like so. It just lives like this in the back trunk of my car. So every time I've responded to an accident in the last year, one was somebody ran into a telephone pole. The most recent was probably 2 months ago. There was a motorcyclist that had spilled in the middle of the road. In the back of my car, all I have to do as I'm getting out of my car is open the door, right, to the trunk. It's not really a trunk, but the back of the car. You guys know what I'm saying. And all of the stuff I need is back there. I can just grab what I need and go. Now, in my minivan, this bag is shoved underneath the console between the driver's side and the passenger side seat. So, let me go back to my story. Because I have these in every vehicle, and I have the same stuff in every vehicle, I get out of my car, and I don't take the bag with me. I don't know if you guys know the expression, out of sight, out of mind. The bag in a car that I don't regularly commute with, shoved under my seat, was out of sight, out of mind, y'all. It was dark. The car is dark. I'm not like, oh, I've got my go run and be superhero bag. No, I just got out of the car with my fanny pack. I didn't even have my jacket on, you guys. It's like 40 degrees on a freeway. Cars are zipping by. It was cold, man. Don't have any of that on me. Because in the moment, I was more concerned with getting out of the car and going to quickly respond versus taking 15 seconds to grab a bag and put on a jacket. So let's go back to my story. So we're 40 to 60 feet away from where I thought I saw the body. I get out of the car with just my fanny pack, flashlight, the pocket knife, the Leatherman, the firearm. Like, that's it, you guys. We're like bare basics. Pull the flashlight out. Flashlight is in my right hand, keeps on that pocket, and there is a body in the middle of the road. Okay, let's call 911 and let them know there's a body in the middle of the road. And as I'm dialing 911, the body that's in the middle of the road, the number 2 lane, laying prostrate across the whole lane. Like, you guys, if a car had driven in the number 2 lane, they would have decapitated the guy and his feet. Like, it would have been a perfect, there's no head and no feet. This body that's laying down in the middle of the road stands up. Now that changes the dynamic of what I am doing as well as the red flag. So I went from, I think there looks like a dead body in the middle of the road. I should call 911 and make sure the body doesn't get continually run over and or / damage somebody's car when they hit this body at 70, 75 miles an hour. Now the body is alive, standing up, and walking into traffic a little bit, but kind of in the walking into traffic towards me. So now I have some other concerns like, are you suicidal? Are you on drugs? Are you both? Was this a trap to have some schmuck pull over the side of the road and now you're going to jump me and try to steal my car? You got a lot of things potentially going on. So I'm letting 911 know there was a man lying in the road. I don't know why. And hold on one second. Here's where I'm at, and I'm going to kind of ignore you for a second. I was like, hey, we okay, buddy? So I'm talking to the guy. Doesn't speak English. Yay. Now, I know this much Spanish, enough to get myself in trouble with the 10 words I know and body language, right? That's all I've got, you guys. So it's like, hey, the road is no good. A key, let's go over here to the side of the road. And he starts coming towards me. I was like, no. Stop there, go over here. And he pulls out his phone. Guy was smart. Pulls out his phone, does something, and he holds it out to me. He went to Google Translate. And whatever he said in Spanish, in English it's translated, do I want to die? Now, I've used Google Translate. My first guess is he's asking a question about himself. Again, reading the situation, you were just lying face first in the middle of the road. That's probably not my third of you're trying to get somebody to pull over so you can jump them. That's not a great way to get somebody to pull off the side of the road. I'm going to keep that in the back of my head as a possibility. You got friends hiding in bushes, whatever the case may be. But I'm really banking on option A or option B. You're suicidal or you're on drugs or you're both. So when you show me a message that says, do I want to die? I'm interpreting that as you're suicidal and you're asking like, I think I want to die. Might have been how it should have been translated. However, you could also be asking me, do I want to die? And the answer to both of those is no. Nobody should be dying today. So it's like dying is bad. No dying. Sit here. Meanwhile, by the way, I'm still on the phone with 911. So I want you guys to imagine something. I've got a flashlight in my hand. Let's get the flashlight. Boom. Flashlight. And I've got my phone. We're going to pretend that my Leatherman is my phone. Phone, flashlight. You guys notice a problem here? What's the problem? I'll wait. Oh yeah, the problem is I don't have hands free because I'm on my phone and I've got a flashlight. I'm not dropping my flashlight, and I'd really like to not drop my phone. What would have been really, really good is, I don't know, the AirPods that are in my pocket, that are in the van, should have been in my pocket. Or even if, I wanted to like old school it. Just saying. So here's another life lesson for you guys. Being able to have equipment is great. Getting the equipment on your body to go use the equipment is better. Having the ability to communicate hands-free, really, really important, you guys. I'm sitting there, one of my hands is occupied with my phone. Would have been really nice to be able to get other things if I needed them, but I can't because I'm on the phone. So, life lesson number 2, make sure you have an ability to communicate on your phone that don't require your hands. Whether that's old school wired, whether that's AirPods, whether that's, an implant, whatever the case may be able to communicate. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about a third lesson that I've learned here. I'm pretty sure this man is suicidal. 90% sure. 85% sure. The only things I have on my person are a knife and a firearm. I don't want to use either one of those if this gentleman ends up needing some deterrence. I don't want to make his suicidal wish come true. That's bad for him and it's bad for me. I have palm. I have spray. I've got bear spray in the car. But I'm not at the car because I forgot the bear spray. Because I got out in a quick rush to go assess a situation that has now changed. I thought I was assessing a dead body, not a live body. And the palm that's normally in my pocket, I left it in my backpack. When all you have is a hammer, everything begins to look like a nail. And I did not have anything to fill in a stopgap of a non-lethal deterrent other than these guys. And I don't really want to bank on those. I have to get too close to use those. So, have equipment. Great. Use equipment. Communication, really important. And I'm gonna actually leave these here so you all can stare at them for the rest of the night going, communication, super important. Super important. And non-lethal deterrence, really, really important. So, let me finish my story. At this juncture, I'm now off the phone with 911. They told me I should leave. I fully agreed with them. I should leave. This is not wise for me to be here. However, I think if I leave, gentleman's name was Emmanuel, is probably going to walk back into traffic and try to go kill himself, and I don't see CHP yet. So I'm going to just hang out. I've gotten him now off the road. He did try to walk into one or two more cars walking towards me. He clearly knows I don't speak Spanish. I clearly know he doesn't speak English, so we're at a little bit of an impasse here. So he's sitting down, and now he starts to cry. I'm like, great. Threat level is reducing a little bit, and you're sitting and you're far away from me. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I rush over to the car and have a quick convo with my wife. Should have had this planned before I got out of the car. I had her get in the driver's seat in case for some reason she needed to leave me there and get the kids and move further down the road. So here's another life lesson. Equipment, communication, non-lethal deterrence, and I got it lying here. Boom. Non-lethal deterrence. Really, really good. There's the pepper spray that I should have had. Where can I clip this? I might just clip it right here. Non-lethal deterrence. Next step I should have had done. Having a plan that if I ever get out of the car and my wife and my children are in the car, the first thing that should happen is my wife needs to get into the driver's seat. Now again, you guys, this was 2 to 3 minutes in real time. I've drugged the story on for longer than it's already happened. You're welcome. The plans that my wife and I have for security, we've never talked about, if we're in the car and I pull off the side of the road and I get out of the car, what should you do? I should have thought about that before I left her and the children in the car and went to go check on something. However, I did go back, make sure she got in. I also grabbed a jacket because, again, it was very cold and I was already shivering. Went back and I'm like, great. My Spanish is not great. Google Translate is not great. But I got friends. So I used my hotline, called a friend of mine who's bilingual. Very good bilingual, by the way. He works at the courts as a translator, kind of bilingual. It's like, yo, I got an emergency here. You got a minute? He's like, for you, anytime. Give the phone to Emmanuel, who's crying. And they start talking in Spanish. Fantastic. Now, CHP finally gets there. They're still on the phone, and I'm just chilling, being cold, not even remembering I got, cool safety equipment in my car that could be life-saving. No. I'm just chilling on the side of the road. CHP gets there. They don't speak Spanish. So now my phone is going from a manual to CHP. And my friend is giving CHP the lowdown of whatever that conversation was. End of the story is me leaving. He's going to go to the hospital, probably go to the psych ward, self-commit. My friend gives me the lowdown of what was going on. He was indeed suicidal. A lot of backstory stuff, but he was trying to kill himself. So I got to go home with my wife and my children safely, feeling pretty good that I very likely just saved a life. The gentleman was wearing black shoes, black sweatpants, a black hoodie with the hood over his face, well bearded, face down in the middle of a decently busy freeway at 9 o'clock at night underneath an overpass. He would have been killed. So I was very grateful that I was not in the number 2 lane, because I would have been the one killing him, which would have been bad for him, would have been bad for my car, and it would have been very sad for me to have taken the life of somebody that didn't need their life taken. So, my lessons. I've gone over most of them with you guys, but I'm going to reiterate. Having equipment is great. Having things that make you visible. If you're going to choose to go put yourself in danger, again, I have done this a handful of times in my life. The last year, I've probably done it 3 times. It's been a little bit more popping this last year. Car accidents mostly. My commute to work, I go through some pretty sketchy intersections and people don't pay attention. So I've used this before. I've used the flashlight several times before. Not because mine was dead, but because I wanted an extra light to broaden my throw. We had an issue at my school. It was late at night. They just needed extra eyeballs and extra light. So I had all of those. I've never had to use the knife, the tourniquets, the medical. It's good stuff to have. I got extra stuff in my backpack, but none of it was on me, you guys. So what am I doing from here? So first of all, I'm going to pause, think, and then respond. That's great. But there's a couple tweaks I'm making in how I load my gear. So my high-vis vest, I'm no longer keeping in the bag, especially in my van, where I'm not in and out of that as much, and I'm not stopping and pulling off the side of the road to go do stuff, right? Like my car, I've built some routines and some habits because I've used the car and responded to emergencies, but I don't typically do that in the van because I have my wife and my children, and I don't typically stop. However, if I am going to stop, safety for me, really important. So this is now going to go in the driver's side door, where when I open the door to get out, it's right there staring me in the face. That way, out of sight, out of mind, doesn't happen. I don't mind keeping this for convenience tucked in, out of sight, out of mind. Again, the likelihood that I'm going to need any of these, I'm willing to roll the dice. The second thing, communication. I have taken a habit of driving and just having an AirPod in my ear. Why? Well, it'd be great if I'm getting out of the car to be able to tap my ear twice and have Siri make a phone call. Or, old school it and snake it down my shirt and have it here where I could just put this in the ear and go to town. So those are the first 2 lessons. Quick access to high-vis vests, communication, really important. I like that I have my flashlight, my fanny pack, rocked it, have my firearm, that's all great, but I need more tools on my tool belt. I don't want to be responding with a hammer to something that I need a pair of pliers or a crowbar. So I'm being a little bit more religious in carrying deterrents, non-lethal deterrents, whether that's the spray, whether that's a baton, a walking stick, something to keep distance and to have people away from me that don't require bullets. So that is my story. Hopefully this is a help to you and you guys can begin thinking, what would you do? And some of you are like, fool, I went to stop. That's what I would have done. And I'm like, I agree, I shouldn't have stopped. But I think for me, I would say Providentially, I saved that guy's life, and that's pretty cool as well. Could have done things safer. Good SOP, standard operating procedure, with your spouse, your girlfriend. If you're going to do something risky, they need to know how to respond. Like, get in the driver's seat if I get out of the driver's seat. That's great. So have those kind of discussions. Again, have the discussion, should we stop? When do we stop? That was something my wife and we have talked about a little bit more in depth. She was, and by the way, I want to be clear, she was very okay and supportive and encouraging in me going to see this body / save the life. So I would not have done that without her approval and consent. But it did open we've talked about like home security stuff. If I do this, you do that. But we haven't talked about a whole lot in the car. So that's a blind side for me. Always keep a flashlight on you if you're going to be out late at night. And I think those are my life lessons. And the cool gear. So the things I used, again, active shooter bag. Wasn't an active shooter. Fanny pack, because I'm a dad and that's just convenient. Cool flashlights, whatever flashlight floats your boat. I will say, the more candelas and the more lumens, the bigger and better you can carry, the best, right? Because like there was no lights out here, you guys. Super, super dark. But also make sure it's not something so big that you're not going to carry it, right? But like a little pen light wouldn't have helped me at all. I needed light. So maybe even kind of have that set in your own mind. Like, hey, if I'm going out somewhere in the morning, cool, I can take the little flashlight. If I'm going somewhere out and I know it's going to get dark and I'm going to be out after dark, maybe you carry the bigger light. So that's all I've got for you. This is not my normal video. If you guys like it, let me know. If you guys got questions, thoughts, comments, be nice on the roasts. I'm sensitive. You guys have a great night.